Hey there guys, this is Epileptic and this is my news roundup for Guild Wars 2. So now that PAX 2011 has just finished, Guild Wars 2 has released quite a lot of new news that we haven't heard before. I'm just going to list some of the news that's come out and talk over it later on. So first off, we have heard that there are going to be multiple guilds in Guild Wars 2. You're going to be able to represent different guilds such as one PvE guild and another PvP guild. All of the 400 die colours have been individually named, and of course there are going to be 400 dies in the game. They have announced there are going to be 2 teams, one for expansions and one for support. So we are going to see a lot more updates than we did in Guild Wars 1 possibly, and we're going to expect expansions for Guild Wars 2 in the future. They have scrapped the trade system and it is being redone. The last piece of news is airships. We have seen airships in a few of the trailers so far, and it is announced that they are going to play a major part in the game. So let's start with multiple guilds. They have mentioned that we are going to be able to represent different guilds. For example, we will be able to represent a PvE guild and a PvP guild on the same character. This enables guild masters and players to create more unique guilds, such as pure role-playing guilds, such as instance guilds, and maybe even to the point of dynamic event guilds or minigame guilds, creating the overall aspect of a more unique community. But this also could have a bad side to it. What could happen is people zerging in guilds. What I mean by this is the most popular guilds in the game, more and more people join them to gain the benefits that come from that, such as owning a keep and the benefits that come with that, or even to the point of organized dynamic event scaling. We saw similar things with Warhammer Online, if any of you played that game, where the big guilds got all the big benefits and the smaller guilds find it a lot harder to gain these benefits. This brings me on to World vs World and guild keeps. They have announced that in World vs World there will be keeps that can be captured and kept by guilds, and they can spend influence within their guilds that each player creates through being in the guilds and representing their guilds. They create influence and they can spend this by upgrading their keep or upgrading certain perks to their character. By upgrading their keep, it makes it harder to capture by enemy players. I'm guessing it's going to be a similar system to, again, Warhammer's Online Realm vs Realm, where when you take a keep, you get things like catapults, like siege weapons, stronger walls, stronger doors, etc. to help defend your keep. I do really like how they've done this, however I am quite concerned about the point I made earlier, where guilds, the biggest guilds, are going to own all the keeps, and there won't be a chance for the smaller guilds to get that content and to be able to own a keep for themselves. Obviously the game hasn't come out yet, so I don't know how they're going to get around this, but I'm sure they're aware of it, as I said, due to other games and it happening before, and communities breaking down, and basically the game failing because of it. So my best guess is that they have sorted this out and they know what to do and how to make it fair for everybody. On the other hand, this is such a great feature in Guild Wars 2. If you've never done a keep siege or a 100 and 100 battle before in an MMO, it is one of the best PvP experiences you can have, and the developers of the game have stated that they're really excited for World vs World and they find it so much fun, so I can only imagine that it's going to be an amazing experience overall. And just to add, to speculate a little, maybe even airships are part of these keep sieges. Maybe if you hold a keep, you get your own airship where you can travel around the World vs World map. Obviously we don't know what it looks like or how it will be, but maybe the airships will play a part in keeps in World vs Worlds. So another piece of news that was brought up during the Q&A session during this panel was a lot of people were concerned about how the dynamic events and the contribution during this works, and what rewards you can gain by just being there for hardly any amount of time, and what rewards would a level 80 player gain in a level 3 dynamic event, for example. The developers were emphasizing the scaling system in this aspect, so if you're level 80 and you go to a level 3 dynamic event, you'll be scaled down to level 3, and if you haven't been there a long time, then you won't get the same amount of reward than someone who's been there the whole time. So even if you're level 80 and try to grief someone in a level 3 zone and do their dynamic event and just come in at the last second and kill the big boss like in one hit, that would never happen, and they wouldn't gain much reward from it at all anyway, because they hadn't been there for the whole dynamic event. going on to the big news about the trait system that has been scrapped. This one was quite interesting really, because they never really seemed very sure about what the trait system does. Every time they got asked questions on it, they were kind of unsure about the trait system, what they can sort of tell us, and etc. And they never seemed very confident on the traits, especially when they did on other aspects of their game. So to me, it doesn't really come as a surprise that the trait system has been scrapped and being redone. Because in a game like Guild Wars 2, where the skills are so much different and the combat is so much different, you can't really have the same system as in other games where you sort of level up your strength or your agility or these different aspects, and you put points into these. So that's generally what the trait system was doing. So you can put points into what you want to be. For example, if you're a warrior and you want to use your swords more, you put points in those sort of sword aspects in your traits. But this goes off the back of what other hotkey MMOs do, and because they've got such a different combat system, they can't really have that system in place to support it. So I think it's a good idea that they're scrapping it and redoing it to make it so it's more direct at what their goals want to be, to make your character a lot more customizable to what you want it to be. Like, for example, be warrior with the sword rather than a mace or an axe. And the last piece of news is airships. The only detail we've seen about airships is in the trailer. We just saw the airships, and I personally just thought they were an attribute to the map. They weren't actually, we would be able to use them. I thought you'd just see them flying through the air, like you would see a bird, for example, flying through the air. But they've announced that they play a major part in Guild Wars 2. Now this can mean two things. This can mean it plays a major part in the story. It could mean a major part as in you use airship to do transport, but I doubt it's that one because they have the fast transport system. So I'm not sure. I really cannot even think to what airships would be in the game, what part they would play. So maybe put a comment down below and sort of inform me of, what airships would be, or what you think airships are going to play in the part, because I can't even speculate on it. The only thing I can think of is in World vs World PvP. Airships would be awesome just to have there anyway, so I would love it to be like, you could just imagine taking a keep and having your own guild airship where only your guild can sort of access it and fly around and gain such a good advantage, because you can imagine having siege weapons on the airship and really changing the battle. And in the PvE world, out in the world, other than transport, I can't really think how an airship could play into things, or in boss fights, for example. Maybe when you're taking down dragons, you can go into an airship and siege the dragon from there. Who knows? But yeah, that's going to be the end of this news roundup video. This is one of my first news roundup. I've done a couple of Gamescom PAX roundups that have been a bit different to this one. These ones are a lot more informal. The other videos on my channel are quite informal. I'm sort of just talking over things of what I think about different aspects of Guild Wars 2. So, thanks for watching this one. Please make a comment on what you think of all this news, and like and subscribe. That'd be awesome. So I'll see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.